Just happened to remember. Okay. All right. Hello to Mo, Ro, John, Ron, Kathy, Dawn, Lucinda, Kelly, Peter, Renee, Ed, and Uncle Dave. Okay, first we're going to have a report on some of the health of some of our folks. Damon is home. He called me today and he's recuperating from a serious infection, still on antibiotics. He has to wear a brace and he's supposed to wear it all the time, but he says he can't handle it. It gets too hot and sweaty and he takes it off once in a while. Still can't go out in public because of COVID-19, but he's eager to get back to our fellowship. And then Donna is going to give us a report on Rachel. I tried to get a hold of Rachel, but she didn't get back with me.
Yeah, no, she's not, she's sleeping a lot. She's out of the hospital. But she's still in a lot of pain. So she's staying with a friend. Her spirits are pretty good, but she's just in a lot of pain.
Okay.
Yeah. But she's
All right.
not, she's pretty much in the bed.
Okay, well, when you talk to her, you give her our love and tell her we're praying for her.
Okay.
Did she have surgery, Donna?
No, she had diverticulitis, but the holes, it was very severe. Oh, there was infection. Yeah. She was close to septic. And that's why she was in the hospital for several days. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to take time for her to get back on her feet.
Okay, if you've seen my emails, you know that I've mentioned about Rob and Danetta Coleman. They've not a very active member of our group, but they have been here at the Grass Valley. Well, I don't think they ever went to the Sacramento. But anyway, Danetta they've diagnosed her with stage 4 cancer. It's in every part of her body, he said, except the pancreas, and that's hopeful. And he just brought her home today, and and then they have to go back to the hospital. They go to UC Davis and have to 3 times a week now, and then in a couple of weeks she'll begin 2 weeks of chemo. So the prognosis is not good. They haven't been told any particular time length or anything, but according to the doctors, well, stage 4, the doctors, don't give you much hope. But what they said is we can give you more time, and probably give you more time. Even that they can't guarantee, obviously. So you might keep them in prayer. And Danetta's doing much better about it than Rob is, as I said in my notes. And Rob is a worrier, and so anyway, just like I say, keep both in prayer. All right. All right, tonight's a little different, as I said in my note. I'm going to be talking primarily about the friend of ours who died last Wednesday. As a matter of fact, the night that our last week fellowship, I think she died that night. 53, I think, and 53 years old.
53, yeah.
53, yeah. And is Bill Carpenter's daughter-in-law. And so that's how close it is to this family. Most of you probably don't know how intertwined our families seem to be in terms of our fellowship and love for one another. Bill's kids are like ours, and ours, I think, are like his. And we each have we have a similar number, 9. Well, he now has 10, I think, right? We all have 10 with, okay. And and then and we have the 9. And anyway, their oldest, Sean is the oldest, isn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, Sean's the oldest, and he was married to Kelly. And Kelly is just one of those people who they're few and far between. Kelly was a sweetheart. She was just as nice a person as you'd ever want to see. And I'm going to read something to what her sister-in-law said in just a minute. But first of all, I want to quote Psalms 116:15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. And and I know in terms of Kelly, almost, I know God is not a respecter of persons, but it almost had to be special, a special precious to him. Because he took her home early, and it was a difficult thing. And like I say, I've been struggling with it, all week off and on. And and this precious is, I went and looked up the Greek. It says valuable, prized, weighty, precious, rare, splendid. And all of those words fit Kelly to a T. And in 2 Corinthians 5:8, we are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body than to be present with the Lord. I'm going to show you a picture right now of Kelly. And, well, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, here we go. There we go. That's Kelly and her daughter, Colleen. And I don't know how long ago that was taken, but she was, that gives you an idea of the girl. So you can keep that in mind as we talk about her. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to read, first of all, part of the obituary. Kelly Marie Lynch, 52, of Little Hocking, Ohio, died at the Marietta Memorial Hospital emergency room in Belpre, Ohio on Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. She was born in Parkersburg, West Virginia on October 3rd, 1967, and was the daughter of Jim Manier of Long Bottom, Ohio, and Deborah Manier of Little Hocking, Ohio. She was a mother and homemaker who was an avid reader, good cook, and loved music. Survivors include her husband, Sean Lynch, Connor Lynch, Aaron Lynch, Colleen Lynch, and Corporal Liam Lynch of Okinawa. And it says a memorial service will be held at the Levitt Funeral Home in Belpre on Wednesday, the 22nd, although that has been changed, I think, because Liam is in Okinawa and they want him to be home when it takes place. And of course, it's Pastor Bill Carpenter. I didn't know he was called pastor before, but that's what it says. Pastor Bill Carpenter will be officiating.
That degraded every pastor that's ever been out there, Mike.
What's that?
That degraded every pastor that's ever been out there. Degraded him.
Okay. All right. I'm just now thinking, I'm sure somebody's going to record that, but you make sure it's recorded somehow, filmed through, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I want to hear that. I want to hear that message that you give.
I'm taping this one and I'm going to give this one here when you get done.
Yeah, right. No, Bill is awesome when he gives a message, and so I've heard a few, and I love them, and of course, I love that character. Hello, Carl.
Hey.
Better late than never. Okay. All right. So what now I'm going to read to you is a tribute from her sister-in-law. It's one thing for sisters, to be, close and so on. But in this case here, this is from her sister-in-law, Mandy, who is one of Bill and Jennifer's daughters. And of course, she's sister to Sean, the husband of Kelly. And so this is what she wrote. This is the obituary for my sister-in-law, Kelly. Though to me, I'm going to have trouble with part of this. Though to me, she will always be my sister. Seeing this hammered home that she is truly gone. My profile picture is in her honor. How she loved pansies. I will never understand her sudden passing on Wednesday night. I'm really rather angry about it, to be quite honest. I don't mind telling God that I'm not very happy with him right now. I think he understands and will forgive me. And of course, we know that he will. And we know that he doesn't have a problem with us being angry at him. I'm not sure I can ever express the complete devastation I feel at her passing. It truly took me to my knees. To know her was to love her, period. You will never find someone more true, loving, giving, genuine, positive, loyal, and the list can go on. She truly never had a bad word to say about anyone. She was all about her family. She was full of happiness and laughter. I will miss her laugh, deep belly, contagious laugh. She made you feel good and loved. She just brightened up everything with the very essence of who she was. And her hugs, good gracious, I will miss her hugs. When she hugged you, you felt it to your core, and you felt her love. I stopped by her house one day. She lived right down the road from her folks, and I hadn't seen her for, I don't know, several years. We used to see her every year when we would go back to Bill and Jennifer's, and Jennifer always makes us a pot of American or Navy beans, whatever. Anyway, because June and I love beans, probably that's one of our favorite meals, if not our favorite meal. And it was Kelly's too. And so Kelly always got invited on the day that we had the beans, and so we always had this great time together in this fellowship. As a matter of fact, the next time we're at Bill's and we have beans, the first bowl that I eat is going to be in her honor. So that's because I'll just never forget the fun we always had. And but anyway, that was the kind of person she was. And then I stopped by the house because I hadn't seen her in a while, and I just stopped by to get a hug because I wanted to hug Kelly and tell her I love her. And I'm not sure, but that may have been the last time I saw her. We didn't get after Bill and Jennifer moved down on the Ohio River. That was pretty much too far for her to drive, and so I haven't seen her in quite some time. So all right. So anyway, when she hugged you, you felt it to your core, and you felt her love. She was one of my rocks, and always there when needed. She loved my brother madly and took such good care of him. I so admired their marriage and the partnership they had. She truly got him. And if you know Sean, it takes something to get Sean, but he's a wonderful kid, but he is different. Bill will tell you that. Okay, now I got to get the tears out of my eyes so I can read. She was the best mom. Her children were her world, and she loved them with a fierceness and loyalty, and the love and pride she felt for them shined in her eyes when she talked about them. Our world, our family will have a little less light with her no longer here with us. It will never be the same. And I was just going to tell you a little bit about her with her kids. She was a great fisher person. They went bass fishing all the time, and she and her kids went bass fishing, and I think most of the time she outfished them. And so that's just the kind of person she was. She would do anything and she needed to do, and be with those kids. And I think all the kids love fishing, don't they, Bill?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't want to think about how much different our lives will be. She has been in my life since I was about 11 years old. This just doesn't seem real. I don't want it to be real. My heart is literally broken. It is a true physical pain. Who will post beautiful peach roses on my wall from now on? She did that. Just a little thing, but my, how much of a big thing it was to me. Her way of saying, I love you, I'm thinking of you, it always made me smile. It always made me feel loved. That was Kelly. If you were blessed enough to have known Kelly and have her as part of your life, you are better for it. She was my brother's world and everything to her children. If you could say a prayer for all of Kelly's family, my brother and her children especially, it would be greatly appreciated and very much needed. God is our only strength right now. We know Kelly is in his hands, and that's the comfort we lean on. We know the unspeakable joy she must be feeling right now and rejoice in knowing she is with our Lord and Savior. But for those of us who loved her, our worlds have been shattered. I will miss her so very much. So that kind of gives you an idea of you know, she was not a blood sister, but to her, she was a sister. And of course, it's personally, I didn't really know her all that well. I mean, I didn't get to spend lots of time with her, but like Mandy says, and I mean, you didn't have to be around her very long till you loved her, and you didn't have to know her very well, just to love her, and was a wonderful, wonderful girl. And and the reason I bring that here to you guys, I know none of you know her here, but when you get to heaven, I want you to know her. Say, we heard about you, Mandy, and I just want you to know about a person like this, okay? And she's not the kind of person that ever gets any recognition out in life in any big way. But I want her to have recognition here now with you all, and now of course she's got plenty of recognition in heaven. She's with Jesus and having a great time. But, huh? Yeah, Tommy says she's his favorite, and this could be, maybe she might have been. Anyway, it's Bill, honey. Well, first of all, honey, would you like that? You're not trying to compare. You're just trying to. Well, she might think about it. Bill, you can chime in here and talk a little bit.
Well, I couldn't hear what Junie said, but she was just exactly what you're saying. In fact, I don't know whether you can hear me or not, but when I was talking to Mandy, I was telling her, I said, they don't need me to stand up there in front of them and say anything. I said, you didn't leave me anything left. There's not anything to say because you done said what was in all of our hearts. And she was absolutely unique. And she was, from the time she came in after she married Sean, she did a couple things that I don't see done out here very much at all. One of them was that I never seen her judge anybody in anything that there was. And I was with her for quite a few years. She was so open and so receptive. And the only thing you got from her was love. But her prime mission in life was being submitted and everything that Sean needed to be who he was. And he is one weird guy. He really is. In fact, we were sitting around and to tell you how the Lord can work in our lives, we were sitting around Thursday, all of us, and this was right after everybody had come back and her parents had come in and all of that. And we were talking, and Sean looked over at me, and he's not a big emotional guy. And he had been crying, and he said, Dad, should have been me. And I said, Sean, if you was God, and you looked down and you seen you and Kelly down there, and you seen that beautiful, kind, gentle woman that was so great, and he looked over and seeing the asshole that was sitting beside of her, that was self-opinionated, and I said, the bad part about him, he's just like his dad. I said, which one of them would you have taken? And he looked back up at me, and he smiled, and he said, you're right, Dad. And tears was running down his cheeks. But he knew who the Lord wanted, and he knew why. And he understood all of that. And he's doing really well. But she was the highlight. She was not my daughter-in-law. I know she was by law, but she was my daughter.
Yeah.
And she filled a place in my heart that my daughters fill. And there was not anything that could be done. And I'm going to bore you a little bit, but I'm going to read you a couple things that I wrote that I was going to say when we had the service.
Good.
And what I wrote was, Kelly, my daughter by love. Many, many years ago, even before I was aware that God placed special people for our love and care, when she married into our family, we learned of godly submission and a loyalty and a steadfastness, not demanded, but given by her own permission. She was such a paradox in a world where we lived, no drama, just love and smiles, and her mission was always to give. And gave she did every day to her family and her neighbors. Never a complaint of life's hardships or of her never-ending labors. Quick to laugh at herself and slow to judge others. With her self-sacrificing love, she lovingly defined the word mother. But also the quiet assurance that she unknowingly displayed made you want to know what she knew as she walked through her days. It makes me so glad I knew her, and I'm starting to understand what a comforting presence she brought to me, as only God's special gifts can. So until that day when the future becomes the present and all things will be made new, Kelly, my love, who's seated above, I will thank you for just being you.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And one other one that I had written, and she just filled it right up, and it was called A Flower.
Bill, can you move back over a little bit? The sun is shining in the window back behind you, and it's putting a big glare. There you go. Thank you.
That's not the sun, that's a light, but that'll work. That's his aura.
Yeah, it's his aura. Yeah.
A flower. I gazed upon a flower, and its beauty was displayed. Though created by Jesus himself, could it possibly know why it was made? Unaware what its existence generates in this creation all around, it continues on because it belongs in the creation in which it is bound. It blooms though no one is present. Sometimes its beauty is only seen by the Lord. Its purpose is to freshen and brighten an otherwise dark and dreary world. Out of the dry and stony ground it struggles upward, and much to our surprise, we know that we have met people like this, and we slowly begin to realize the Lord not only created flowers to brighten up our days, but he also blessed us with certain people as we go along life's way. They also are completely unaware of the beauty they possess. It's with their quiet and humble spirit that they are able to bless. It's through their smiles and kindness that we see them bloom. You can feel their compassion when they come into a room. It'll only be in heaven when they finally become aware of the lives their humble spirit touched. And for they all will still be there. Some of them will be privileged in time to have experienced what they do. I had the privilege, and I've been blessed to experience the flower that is you. And she was all of those things. She was everything that you can write. And I don't even get a half of what people really are that I meet. And I was telling Mike that I woke up in the middle of the night the other night, and it was really funny because he said, let's take a walk. And I said, okay, Lord, where are we going? And he said, up here on this hill. And I said, okay, I'm with you. And we got up there, and I said, is this place supposed to look familiar? And he said, yep, this is what they call the Mount of Transfiguration. And when I got up there, I was looking for Elijah and Moses and whatever. And like I said, I just woke up in the middle of the night. And but I looked up there, and there was all kind of people there. My dad was there, my mom was there, Herb was there, the people that I knew was there, and John was there. And I told him, And as I kept seeing these people, he kept getting brighter and brighter and brighter. And I realized that I see him a lot of times just for me, but he was for everybody. But the key to it was, as I was standing there, the Apostle Paul come walking out of the shadows. And I thought, oh, my favorite guy, the Apostle Paul. And he had his arm around Kelly. And I had been to heaven. I had been to heaven. So
Thank you.
I have no qualms about where she's at. And I can't wait to be there with her, because
Yeah.
we are all going to stand in his presence one day
Yeah.
in the joy that he has set us free. She is free. Like we talk about freedom, we don't have a clue what freedom is, but
Right.
we're going to know. We're going to know, because he set us free to be free, and that's what we're going to be, is free. And I love it when he gives us a little taste. I said, I'm going to come back. I actually said this because I woke up and I said, I'm going to go down and I'm going to write a poem about that. And by the time morning had come, the only thing I could remember was Paul and Kelly and the Lord. That's the only three that I could remember. And there wasn't anything to write. I told Mike, I said, I was going to write something, but I said, there ain't no way. How do you write the magnificence of our Savior? You
Yeah.
can't.
No, you can't do it. But we get glimpses, and I really appreciate you sharing that. I wasn't going to ask you to share it, but he shared that with me today, and it was just awesome. And I understand it and I believe it. And so, as a matter of fact, Carl, you said you had a brother had a similar experience.
Yeah, recently.
Yeah, recently. The guy thinks he died, and you want to tell about it or not? Okay, all right.
It's similar.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way,
yeah.
You're right. It's better we don't know what real freedom is, or we go out and do something to join her.
You're right.
That's why he only gives us a glimpse.
Yeah.
Like Glenn. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I had a glimpse one time, and I really wanted to run off the road. I was driving down the road when I had this glimpse of I don't know what, I can't even tell you. It wasn't, well, I didn't see people or anything. I just felt, man, I want to go there. But I knew it wasn't my time, so I didn't go. And but it's a lot closer to my time now. That was 40 some years ago, or yeah, over 40 years ago. Yeah. So anyway, so thank you, Bill. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I really wanted him on here tonight because he knew her better than all the rest of us, and I knew he could give a much better talk about it than I could. But I wanted to share Kelly with you because she was worth sharing. And
I really appreciate you doing it too, Mike. I really do. And the family, I'll share with the family what is going on. But anytime that we remember someone that is special, not only in our lives, but she touched many, many lives out there that she won't know until she gets there. And
Yeah.
she is there. And she
Yeah.
has now started to realize what her life was, which she thought was in the background. Just like you said, you don't get the acclamation here a lot of times, but they are the very foundation of what we walk in, what we believe, and what we do. Because it isn't really what we say, it's how we live our lives a lot of times.
yeah, and of course, we don't really appreciate until that person is gone, and all of a sudden we stop and we think, and wow, this is she was awesome, and it's just just hard to accept it. We took her for granted, I mean I did. I just took her for granted, but from the standpoint of she was there, she was loving, and like I say, part of the family. They called June and I Uncle Mike and Aunt June, and that's what Bill's kids call us, and so So, I mean, to us, even though we're not biologically related at all, we are, we know we're spiritually related. Yeah. What'd you say, Bill?
We are one.
Yes, yes, we are. Yeah. So hopefully that will give you an idea of a fantastic person and make you eager to see her along with Jesus when you get there. All right. Any questions or comments?
Thank you so much for sharing, Bill.
Yes.
My pleasure.
Glad you're in this group.
Well, I am too.
All right. I've got some more verses here, and then I have a website I want to share with you. Hebrews 12:1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses. Now Kelly is a part of those witnesses. Okay.
Is that what you say?
Huh?
The cloud of witnesses, where's that?
Hebrews 12:1.
Okay.
You know, and I've taught about this before about the cloud of witnesses and how, you know, the cloud of witnesses is around us. Now, these are the folks who've gone on before, and they're not, you know, way off in the atmosphere somewhere. They're right around us. This is, and I've taught about the fourth dimension, and that's what I'm going to share something with you. I'm going to send you to another website if you want to go to it. But anyway, let us lay aside every weight and sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Recognizing that this cloud of witnesses around us is cheering us on, okay? We don't see them, we don't hear them, but if we can be cognizant of the fact that they are there, you know, and Kelly is probably right around us here tonight, okay? And but she's only one of the, you know, billions of people, millions and millions of people who have already gone on before, and they are the ones that are cheering us on this victory march that we're on, okay? The war's been over. Religion wants to tell you we've still got to fight and so on. Jesus won the battle over sin, death, hell, and the grave. And so there is nothing for us to win except the experience of it, okay? The fight is over. Everything has been done. Jesus said it is finished, and therefore people around us are just cheering us on. Okay. John 14:3. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also. Okay. And so, and notice that Jesus said here, where I am. Jesus didn't say, I'm going to go way up in the atmosphere, but he says, I'm going to receive you unto myself, that where I am, and I am is right now. Remember what he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, and I am. Remember what God said to Moses when he said, I am that I am. I'm always in the present, in the now. John 17:24, Father, I will that they also, whom you have given me, be with me where I am. Not where he was going, but where I am, that they may behold my glory, which you have given me, for you loved me before the foundation of the world. And so Jesus is saying, hey, I want you to see me now and see me when I'm gone, okay? That I'm here. Now we have to see through the eyes of faith. But we can see through the eyes of faith and see Jesus and recognizing that he's here right now. And so just wanted to add those verses to that. And of course, you know, Kelly is already, she's witnessed that now for the past week, you know, where there is no time. Okay. All right. And the notes, if you go to the notes, you'll see that I have given you a link to four messages that were preached by Bill's father-in-law, Bill Carpenter's father-in-law. And did you ask Jennifer when that was preached?
She went, each tape doesn't have the date on it, but it was in 1975 and 1976. One of them was, two of them was done in 1 year, and the other two was done in 76.
Okay. All right. There are 4 sermons, and there's a link, you'll find it on the notes. So you might want to go and listen to them. Now, you're going to, like I say, be listening to a pastor who was Bill's father-in-law, who we have a very, very unique link here. By the way, his name is Herb Roush. Very similar to my last name, but his is R-O-U-S-H and ours is R-O-U-G-H. But Herb, he started out as a Baptist preacher, didn't he? Yeah. And although he did not yet fully understand what we understand today, I think he was a man ahead of his time, very much ahead of his time in the spiritual world, in the Bible teaching world. And if you listen to these tapes, you'll find some things that you see that we don't fully agree on today. One of them is he taught that he believed that God actually did abandon Jesus on the cross, and of course we do not any longer believe that. But again, you can overlook those things because, and I want to hear you listen to this, and when I listen to him, I say, what in the world am I doing trying to tell anybody anything? I mean, he has such a way of presenting a beautiful, beautiful picture in words that is really awesome. So I highly recommend that you go and listen to it. And these lessons have a title, and it's called Paradise Found. And there's actually 4 parts to it. And and now again, Herb was the first pastor that I was led to by the Lord following my enlightenment back in 1975. And so I don't think I ever heard these messages, but somehow I knew about teaching about the 4th dimension, and you'll hear Herb talk about it in these lessons. And it is so apropos to Kelly's passing, and somebody brought it up and posted it. Somebody in the family, was it, Bill?
Yeah.
And posted on Facebook, and so I went and listened to it, and I was really blown away. It's been several years since I listened to any of his messages, but I was thinking, wow, this man, he knew something. He had an insight that nobody at that time that I knew about had. And just a little side here, Donna is the one who, a Baptist preacher friend of hers, or his wife, gave you the book Jesus Loves Me, didn't she, Donna?
Back in I thought it was, was it it was mid-70s.
1975. Yeah, 75 or 76, somewhere along in there. Yeah.
And he wrote Jesus Loves Me, and I gave away hundreds of those. I ordered from the Gospel Book Room. And he was my pastor as well through cassettes. Yeah. I listened to hundreds of his cassettes.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
I believe I got through it, even though I didn't verbalize it. But the profound teaching, I got universal love. Even though it didn't come out in words and there was nothing that we were revealed at that time. That's what my heart told me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't worry anymore. Once I read Jesus Loves Me and listened to all the cassettes, the worry was gone about anybody's salvation.
Mm.
I never worried about my kids or anybody because I knew we're good.
Yeah.
We're taken care of. I didn't know how.
I hadn't gone that far. I knew I was confident about myself because I believed, and of course, and Herb still believed that you needed to believe, but he was a very, very good grace teacher, and so now they're on this website. There are hundreds of his lessons you can listen to, and then of course, Donna gave me that book. I read it, and then I contacted Herb. And Herb is actually the reason that I went back to Parkersburg, West Virginia for a couple of years. And that's where I met the beautiful lady. You see up in the screen up there. And she, and of course, she was, she sat in Herb's Bible class. And of course, that's where I met Bill in a little bit later. And so anyway, that was, that's how we're linked to this guy. Now you won't see videos of him. You'll see pictures that they change as you watch as you listen to the message. But again, I recommend it highly, and I think it'll bless your heart.
Who wrote that book?
Huh?
Who wrote that book?
Herb Rausch.
Oh,
Herb wrote it. Oh yeah, Jesus Loves Me. Yeah. Probably. I don't know. Bill, can you still get the book somewhere?
I don't know, but I think we might have an extra copy or two if somebody would like to read it.
We have any extra copies? No extras?
I'll get
Okay.
online too, but sometimes you can get them used bookstore.
Oh yeah, we probably could. Yeah. Okay. All right. So
And with how many Donna gave out, there's probably tons
Oh,
of
they're out there. They're
for
out
all over the world.
oh,
Yeah.
by the way, Bill, would you share that last day you were with Herb when he was dying? And I remember you told me that he was complaining because he had so many.
Oh, well,
You can tell that story.
well, when he was in this nursing home at the time, and everybody was coming in. And of course, he had a lot of people that really loved him and cared about him. And he said, "How the hell am I supposed to die with all these people coming in here and interrupting me?" He said, "I get right to where I think I'm going to go, and they come in." But the best thing about all of that was that I married his daughter, and I had been divorced, and I wasn't his highest esteemed guy when I was doing that. When I was with her, and but we loved each other from the very beginning. I mean, when I went in and I met him, and I was a real religious guy, and his message was of grace, which I had said that word for a long, long time, but I knew love was the one that was the most important thing in it, and he knew about that. So anyway, we got to be really good friends until I started dating his daughter, and then we kind of separated a little bit. But then, we got back together before he passed, and I was in there, and the room was full, and he said, "Bill, could you come in here for a minute?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Can you pick me up and carry me and let me look out the window one more time?" And I said, "Sure." So I picked him up and I carried him out, and we sat there and I held him, and this is my idol in the Word, because he was my father in the Lord. I mean, he's the one that led me to where I knew that Jesus paid it all. Up until that time, it was me and Jesus. But when I found out it was all Jesus, like she just said, I knew that I didn't have to worry about anybody else. I wasn't worried about anything else. So I'm sitting there and I'm holding him. And he said, "Okay, I'm ready to go back in." I said, "Okay." So I took him back in the room. I get ready to lay him down, and he's laying there, and he's looking right past me. And he said, "Oh, there she is." And he started talking to Peter and John. I mean, right over my shoulder. And saying,
I didn't hear that. Say that again.
Said he looked right over my shoulder and he said, "Oh, there's John. There's Peter." I mean, all these were just, I mean, I knew I wasn't even in the picture. I mean, because he was looking right over me. And finally, he just rolled over and looked over and he said, "I love you." And that was the last time that I seen him before he went home to be with the Lord. But they were, I mean, it was just a special time with him. But I thought it was really funny. Will you keep them out here? How can I die if they're keep coming in here and interrupting me?
Yeah.
So that was, and I'll tell you another story. that I actually sent it out today, and it was called Dying Grace. And what it was her brother, Robert, used to, up in Michigan, he ran the Bible class up there and did all the stuff for him. And when he got ready to, I had only met him about 2 or 3 times, because when he came down here real late in his life, and I didn't really know him that well. And I got a call, and I was up to Jennifer's, my wife's mother, and he said, "Bill, can you come down?" And I said, "Why?" He said, "Well, I'm going to die tonight." And he said, "I would like for you to come down." He said, "I got some things I want to say." And I thought, what in the world does he want me down there for? I mean, he's got this whole family up there. But we went down, and my wife went with me, and Lena, Herb's ex-wife, or his wife, she went down with us, and I walked in, and he says, "Come in here a minute." He said, "I want to tell you something." He said, "I want you to know that I thought letting go was going to be the worst thing that I had to do. I didn't know how I was going to let go with Pam here and all of that." And he said, "Really," he said, "the Lord's been in this room all day long." And he said, "I got stuff that I want to share with somebody." And he said, "I want to tell you," he said, "He has filled this room so that I don't have a fear. I don't have a regret. I don't have anything that I thought I was going to have when it come down." Because he said, "I know I'm going home." And he just kept talking. And he said, it has just been fantastic. He said, letting go is the easiest thing. He said, he said, that song, the things on earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. He said, everything. And I wrote in that the thing that I was impressed with the most was the fact that he never talked about his accomplishments. He never said anything that he deserved as a trophy or a reward or anything. All he could talk about was God's love and his sufficiency for him in that time. About 2 or 3 hours later, the Lord came and took him and went home, took him home with him. And as I went out, I realized something. I realized that God had given me a blessing of watching Dying Grace. We hear about it. We hear people talk about it. But to see it actually operate in somebody that I didn't have any involvement in whatsoever, and yet the Lord took me down there and he said, "This is so when your time comes, you will know that I will be present. I will come and get you. I will take you home with me. Don't worry about it." And I haven't worried about dying since, because if I'm here, he's still here. It makes no difference whether I'm here or whether I'm with him, because he is here with me, and we will never be any closer than we are right now. The only thing that separates me is my mind, because my heart knows he's there and he is there. So I have never had a fear about that. But a lot of people don't realize what dying grace really is.
Right.
Dying grace is sufficient for everything that we need. So thanks for listening to that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, okay. All right. Well, it's about time to go. Anybody have something to say? Junie, you want? Yes, go ahead, Donna.
Okay, I just got to give you an aside. Jesus Loves Me paperback. There's 16 used from Amazon. One new is $100. It's gone up.
Wow.
We gave them all. And there's
How much are the used ones?
$5 up, 16 used. There's
Okay.
also Henry and the Great Society.
Yeah.
And wait, you're not going to believe this. Well, you will believe this part. All of the reviews are 5 out of 5. And if you read the reviews, it'll touch your heart. I mean, it is, people say, "I never thought I'd get this book again. It meant a lot to me." It's just pages of reviews on Amazon. Pull it up. It's beautiful.
Okay, great.
You didn't know that, did you, Bill Carpenter?
No, he didn't know it. All right. Yeah, I was going to mention too, Kelly's mom, Debbie, was married to Bill's and my very, very, very good friend, Mike Manier, who passed away, what, 2 years ago now, something like that, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. And and there was again an early leaving us, and we were like the Three Musketeers. And we used to have the best time when three of us got together. And but anyway, thank you all for being here and listen to this again. Go to the notes there, and you'll find the website to get those messages. And then there's one more thing I wanted to share. There's at the bottom of the notes is another link, and it's to a doctor who's talking about some things that are going on in the virus world, and they're trying to make what do you call them? Cures for vaccines. There you go. And what they're doing, and she's very, very concerned. And and again, there's nothing for us to be afraid of. Like Bill was sharing, there's nothing for us to be afraid of. There are some things though that we can know about and be aware of, and these one of the things you might want to be aware of that's going on out there in the world. So, okay, thank you. Love you all very much. And let's see, it's 2 weeks from now, Donna, right at your place?
Yes, it will be the
29th or 28th or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so and that will be a potluck, and if you
Or
are
appetizers and desserts, or whatever. Appetizers and desserts, something like that. Yeah.
oh, that's all you want.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Everybody bring a dish. Whatever. Who
All right,
cares?
bring
It'll-
whatever.
it'll-
All right,
Yeah.
love you all. Thank you again. Any other thing
Thank you all.
anybody needs to say? Okay, all right, we'll see you. Bye.
Bye.